You
What's up, Shinners? Yes. The good news is we are back with the podcast. The bad news is I am still the host. So you're stuck with me. But sorry for the delay. All I can excuse is life. But we're hoping to bring you at least one or two podcasts a month, as well as some guest hosts that'll be by my side to bring another element in the podcast. To kick us off, we're going to start off with the Champ Series. Mr. Jack Carthy, Eloy Palau, and Nina Reichenbach, the current champions of the UCI. We're going to be getting them on to kick us off. And another name I can drop, which is now confirmed, will be Damon Watson too. Yes, he'll be on. So thanks to everyone who's followed us all this time and who carries on following us. So I can't thank you enough. There's new merch, new stock on the site, so please head there. We've also got our first ever first aid kits that will be coming out very soon. They may even be out when you're listening to this right now. But the other thing I wanted to mention is we are also sponsoring the South Coast Trials series this year. There's a whole new series of competitions happening that the FXN team have put together, and we will be at each one, and we will be sponsoring them to hopefully grow this series into something big. But without further ado, you've heard enough of me. Let's move on to our first guest. It's 10 times world champion, Mr. Jack Carthy.
Woo! How's it going, buddy?
How you doing? I'm good.
You're looking very comfortable.
I am. I'm literally in bed.
Yeah. I think this is where he took the first podcast as well.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I actually did, yeah.
So what, it's quarter to 8. When do you normally go to bed on a normal day?
As soon as possible. No, I'm joking. about 9:30, 10.
9:30, 10, yeah.
Normally.
Where we're going wrong then is to be 10 times. Well, you've got to be disciplined to get to bed at a decent time.
Do you get up? What time do you get up normally?
So I probably wake up about half 6, 7 because we take Miles to school.
Yeah, I was going to say, but that must be like quite a lie-in for you now versus what it might have used to be.
Yeah, Miles gets up early like most of the time, so yeah, we're up.
How old is he now?
5.
That has gone quick, isn't
it? That has gone quick.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Had almost 5 titles in that time. I guess that's what we got to kick off with. I mean,
yes,
10 world titles, man. Congratulations. Yeah. That is one heck of an achievement. Yeah, let's have a look at that.
Thanks a lot.
Have you had? Do you feel like it's been much more recognised, the fact that you've hit that milestone this time round, or does it just feel like another year? Another one.
Yeah, it was definitely more from people outside the sport. You know, like they were more like blown away with it because I think they've trials normally gets shoved aside a little bit, and then now it's like, well, I've done it 10 times now, so it's like I think now they're like, whoa, what the hell?
Yeah,
you know, where it's like, I mean, it's like we've been hidden under a rock doing it, but now like
crazy. I actually wanted to go through the 10 titles because I don't know if everyone knows, and I know, Jack, I messaged you to even try and find out a bit of detail here, but I think the viewers will certainly appreciate that it's quite a ridiculous record, and I think there's a few close opportunities there. We also had COVID, so let me go back, right? So 2009, we're talking like nearly 14 years ago now, right? It would have been sort of 13 odd years ago.
Basically the year I started trials almost.
Really? Yeah.
Almost.
So crazy. That was your first youth games world title, right? How old would you have been then?
Well, I'm 26 now, so what's that?
13 and a half years ago, yeah.
I was like, you work with numbers, Steve. Come on.
You do numbers.
So what, like 13 years old? I don't know, roughly, yeah, give or take a year. So first world title.
How old do you need? So I'm coming in.
You can be 16, right, and compete in the youth games.
In youth games, you stop competing in youth games at 16.
At 16. When do you start? I'm going in blind.
Oh, start. You can start at like 6-year-old.
Right. I know. I'm curious to find out. I'm sure the people that actually know the date. So
yeah. You can literally do like, I think is it called Poo Sam or something, and it's literally like the kids category.
Yeah.
Just like British trials, you can go at whatever age you want.
Yeah. Was that when you first did your comp itself?
I was quite late. I started in like I think it was like the blue route at the time. So like 13 year old.
Yeah.
And so I started in like I started trials. Most people think I started trials really young, but I started trials at like 10-year-old.
Yeah. Refer back to podcast 1 with Jack.
Still seems semi young to a lot of us, but yeah.
But like most people now, people who are at the Spanish, top, they start at like 5, 6.
Yeah, because they're similar, hitting their sort of teens, and they're trying to compete internationally, similar to you. But yeah,
cool. So
certainly had that.
It didn't take long. You started your teens and you started winning. You started your teens. I'm like, yeah, I'm winning already.
I mean, I'll never forget like a 14-year-old Jack like absolutely dominating a British championship. I found that quite entertaining. But
sorry, yeah,
we'll skip back to the list. So so that was 2019. Then preceding years, 2009, and then 2010, 2011, both additional youth games titles, presumably.
Yeah.
And then your first year in junior in 2012, you ended up coming second to I think it was some Swiss rider that I've never actually heard of. I looked this up earlier.
His name's David Bonzon.
Yeah. So what happened to him?
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, that was a new one to me.
Crazy at the time.
Yeah, so that was interesting. So, and you said that, didn't you? Like that was like you got the same score or something, and it was.
No, so yeah, I were massively. I'd already had third place in a World Cup like 3 weeks before. Well, probably at start of season, and then I had a couple of seconds. So I were like a massive favourite.
That was Antwerp, was it?
Yeah. So it was literally like, in a way, show up and you've won. It was like no competition, because like I were getting third spot and David Bonzon were getting 20th.
Right. Okay.
But when the level, this is where like he used his brains, and I was just like the mad kid who just went for everything.
Right. Yeah.
I made a lot of mistakes. He didn't take any risks. Dabbed everything. Basically schooled me, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember you being refusing to dab even when you could. So, you always were like.
For me, that should have been the easiest thing to ever win.
It's interesting, right? Because
we'll go on to that later.
It should have been 11 titles. That's one of them.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah.
And then hang on. So let's continue.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
So. That was your first year in junior, second, annoyingly. The following 2 years in junior, you smashed it. So that was it Peter Martzburg and then Lillehammer in 2014. Yeah. And then
that's my juniors over.
Oh, yeah, so that's juniors. And then, it was Andorra. Andorra was where?
Andorra, same again.
Yeah.
I was massively favourite to win.
Yeah.
I'd won that year. I won every World Cup. I think there were 5 World Cups that year, and I won every one.
Right.
Massively favourite. Then we went to Andorra, and it were in a river, and I'm there giving it everything, going crazy. Vincent used his brain, took dabs, and won.
Brilliant.
So like great, every time I've lost, I've always lost through people just using their brain.
Yeah, well, you can't really do that weird. So much anymore, right? In terms of the dabbing, but we'll come on to that because there's this is a theme here.
There is definitely a theme. We're bringing on to the dab.
Yeah. Right. So that's 2015 taken care of. Then we got 2016 Val di Sole. 2 years in Chengdu, 2017, 2018. The third year in Chengdu, we all know the drama there with what happened with the marker. And again, another crazy thing to happen, final section of a final. Yeah, obviously, I think that's another one that kind of got away. 2020 cancelled because of COVID. So, I mean, again, I think most people would say like that would have been another straightforward first place.
That year, to be honest, 2020 were probably one of my best years I've ever had training wise, because I literally didn't do anything other than train.
Yeah.
When everyone else were taking it easy because there were no competitions, I trained all year because there was nothing else to do.
No such thing as an off season for Jack Carthy. I know that.
Yeah, it was just full. I took advantage of it. I improved probably more in that year than any other year. But yeah, mad,
crazy. And then we come to, so everyone rejoined in Vic in Spain. That was probably a masterclass. I think you'd absolutely dominated that final and won it well before the final section even. So
that's the World Cup. That's the World Cup.
That was the World Cup, was it?
I'd already won it, and then some people get muddled up with the World Cup and the World Championship.
Oh right.
So the World Cup I'd won by like section 2 or something like that, or 3. But
maybe it was both. Was it that dramatic in the? Because I'm thinking of the World Championship where.
Right. Okay.
And even
how
then,
much I won that one by.
I seem to remember there was all those static hooks. I remember you did like series of static hooks in a row. But you still absolutely killed it. And then we come on to Abu Dhabi. So yeah, we'll get into a bit more detail on that. But again, just incredible sort of run to get that many titles. I think to not really be fully contested, like you say, it's been maybe the odd occasion where you've maybe gone for glory and maybe
it's crazy.
Could have taken a more conservative approach. Yeah.
My dad always says to me like, if you had the brains you have now, you'd have never lost. That's what my dad. That's like what my dad says. My dad says to me like, if you had the brains you have now, you would never lose.
Yeah.
But in the past.
Yeah.
Them events, he says like you just got like you were just too young and too nuts.
Yeah. A little bit more sensible.
And I remember you saying that they were never hard enough. Being like, well, it's too easy. And the one thing that stuck true with Abu Dhabi is you said, actually,
it's
was
like now.
Yeah.
Like I said about David Bonzon, when David Bonzon was like not as good rider, but the sections were a lot easier, and it put him closer to me, and then he didn't take any risks. Abu Dhabi is the spitting image of that event.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we're honest, it's like if you look at the World Cup in Vic at the start of the season, and then you look at Abu Dhabi, the level difference is unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going to Vic and thinking like every second gate was basically you had the first gate that was maybe semi-technical, like you had the ability to give it a good go, and then second move was a huge kind of like,
and then even before, like at the start of that were at the start of the season as well, and like I'd always the top riders, I don't know why, but we always improve towards the end of the season. So we're actually, if say like I did really well in Vic in the first World Cup.
Yeah.
Before I went to Abu Dhabi, I trained in Vic for a week, and all the sections in Vic was really easy. So that's how high your level goes from start of season to end of season.
Right.
So it's like, for me, World Championship has to be crazy hard, really, for it to be.
Because
everyone's
you're at your
extra
peak,
motivation.
Yeah. And everyone's in that.
Extra motivation.
It looked like it was from, obviously, I was only spectating, as only spectating from Abu Dhabi. What was your overall experience and thoughts on the actual competition that they put together?
On sections?
Yeah, sorry, on the sections. I'm talking about trials. Like, what was your view on overall on the sections?
For me, a lot of it were the bits what you would call hard was the bits what were hard for the best rider and hard for the worst rider. So, like, there wasn't really anything where it's like, oh, the only rider here is who can get up there is Jack. There was nothing like that. But there was plenty where it's like, oh, that's hard because we could slip off there. Or, oh, that's hard because, do you know?
Yeah.
Like, up to chance, yeah.
Yeah, like, so if you just said like like someone who's 20th position and someone who's first position,
yeah,
we was actually sweating over the same things, which shouldn't be. Like, the person who's in 20th position should be sweating, thinking, I generally can't do that.
Yeah,
not thinking, oh, the paints look slippy. do you know? Like, we shouldn't be worrying about the paint being slippy. We should be worrying that this, to be honest, the level of this obstacle is too high for me or too difficult for me. So that's what we should be. So
what would you have said were the parts of the competition that gave you the biggest concern? I mean, if you just think back to each section, was there? Because I guess the other thing is it's changed from being, like you said, I think there being particular moves that are pretty big, right? And it's become like, I think trials in general, the competitions have become much longer, and it's been more a case of being fast and getting through the section to get the score. But even some of the, like, again, they weren't maybe pushing you to the extent where you felt like you were even going to struggle to get out that last.
Yeah, so like the one section, for example, was on sand.
Yeah.
Which doesn't.
Section 1, are you talking about?
Yeah, section 1 or section 3 was it as well?
Three as well, yeah.
3. So like that section, say, like, I'm known for being really fast, I suppose, but I were no faster than the slow rider on sand.
Yeah.
So we were all the same. There were no advantage for me being extra fast or extra fit. There were no advantage.
No one could roll through it. You couldn't just roll through it. They had their own tactics. I couldn't go, to gain momentum.
Go fast through it to get going anyway. So, and if I did go fast, it'd probably sink into it, and I'd fall over handlebars. So I couldn't go fast anyway. And then on the next one, it was so smooth. Even the slow riders were fast. so it were like.
No, there's no
they
medium.
Went from one extreme to the other. Yeah. They went from like literally stupid to stupidly easy.
Yeah.
So that and then the other thing was like how we were looking at it. Like, if you stand on the end on all the sections and look across every section, there was nothing big.
Yeah.
There was the highest.
What was it? Off the floor section 2, they had in the UCI section, they had that huge side hop put in, didn't they? Right at the end, which was kind of a joint part of.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone even was able to attempt that, were they? Because it was
no. So one of the laps, I rushed like mad to try get there.
Yeah,
and I was almost making mistakes to get there fast enough.
And then you basically didn't have enough time to, because it was.
I just jump off the bike.
And that one thing I couldn't believe about that was 6A, right? So you had to do a huge side hop and then a huge hook to get out on the 60 points, which was kind of ridiculous. Like, one of those moves alone should have been at least worth 10 points if anyone had the ability to get there. But again, I think it was just put too far near the end potentially, or maybe the sand just.
Yeah, but the new rules. This is how we always laugh at them, to be honest. The new rules, because it's like the section. They say the section's meant to get really hard towards the end.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Okay, I get that you want to make it harder towards the end.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what people don't realize, when you have to get to the end to get that gate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you have to get there with plenty of time. You're not going to do a 16-inch side hop hanging out your ass. do you know? Let's be honest. You're not.
No, it's ridiculous.
Put a 2-meter hook in. It don't matter who you are. You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So you've made a pointless obstacle.
Yeah.
So then someone who's not as good, who doesn't rush.
Yeah.
Like, he's just going steady, knowing, I'm not going to get there anyway.
Yeah.
I'm more likely to make a mistake because I'm trying to rush to get that extra one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know? So it's turned into now where dynamic.
It's like, I know. I definitely hear you. I was going to, because I guess that's one of the things we're going to ask is, obviously, in your view, right? Like, what would Yeah, the way the competition's changed a lot over the time, what would you say Abu Dhabi could have done better in terms of like section setup? Like I said, maybe it's just a case of there needs to be a couple of bigger obstacles, and yeah, maybe they need to be like gate 4 or something.
Right. It seemed like gate 3 in every section was super difficult, or at least like it was a middle gate.
Yeah, or let's all just go back to the old rules. What actually worked? If you don't get to the end, you get a 5. If you get to the end, good for you. Like, so we worked it out as well on the scores. Same again. So if we'd have done it on the old rules,
yeah,
I would think I win by 12 points. I think it was, or something like that. But I draw. In the new rules, I draw, but in the old rules, I win by 12 points.
Yeah.
See,
which is ridiculous.
I haven't thought about doing it like that.
Yeah, well, I guess the difference there is if, I guess if dabs were back in play and people were kind of dabbing to get out of a section, it's clearly not completely comparable. But I hear you.
But it's like Danny Barron, perfect example.
Yeah,
he didn't get through any sections apart from the last one.
Yeah.
He didn't get through any. He didn't get to the end on any gates.
Yeah. It's crazy how that happens.
It's mad how it works. For me, the only way to make it worthwhile is double the last 2 gates or something like that. So like the 5 and 6 gate is like 20 points.
You could have a bonus.
20 points for that.
I kind of like that.
Like the back end of the gate.
Yeah.
You get more for it. So
it
it's
may
like
put
10,
the winners.
10, 10.
Yeah, it may put the winners way further ahead, but it's the same in being like, is it?
It's kind of like this speed bonus kind of concept as well, right? You
but at the same time, that's what I want. That's what I want, the rules like that. But do you honestly think the UCI want that? Because I don't. I think the races now are so good for spectators because it's exciting. No one knows who's won till end.
Yeah. No, I have to agree, right? We all enjoy the drama as like spectators. Everyone enjoys the drama,
and that's what they want it to do. They want it to be more successful.
But at the same time, you also do want to see the best riding possible, right? And I think you want to see riders demonstrating their level, and like if their people are getting through and cleaning everything, and that's like 3 riders that are all cleaning everything, it's not really that exciting. If you just watch, you've just watched someone, like, I know it's the 6th ranked rider and they clean the section, you kind of think, well, there's no point even watching the next 5 riders because they're all meant to be better, and this guy's already done it all. So you might see a different technique, or maybe it starts to build pressure as it goes through the competition. But I think, in my view personally, you would always want, like you say, if there was a 2-meter hook and like there's only one person that can do it, that's like I remember back to that pipe in Chengdu that you hooked when both Vince and Gilles and I went absolutely nuts. And that type of stuff I think as well is just as impressive.
When I were younger and I were against Gilles and Gilles were the top dog.
Yeah.
Me failing moves and Gilles getting them.
Oh yeah, people love it.
Even that I were losing the competition from it. I idolized Gilles.
Yeah.
And I'll admit it. I'll always admit it. You know.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. You know, like I wanted to beat him, but I just idolized him.
Yeah.
But like nowadays, you have people with half the skill of you catching you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like they've tried making it where it's not about the top rider now. It's about the majority of the riders, and they want the majority of the riders to have a good time.
And who doesn't make a mistake, basically, rather than actually be like, who can do this? It's like, well, now we know the level, what they can do, this, that, and the other. It's like, who's going to make a mistake? And it's that consistency in trials which makes the competitions that much harder because, I can do that. It might take me 3 goes normally. Be like, you ain't got 3 goes, mate. That's it.
Yeah.
Room for that.
I think the other thing as well, like, you could have a really good rider. Like let me take Joachim, for example, right? Really good rider, really strong, powerful rider. He's not the fastest rider in the world, right? So he struggles sometimes in competition because he's not able to move around a section as fast as some of the other riders, which means that maybe he gets to gate 4 clean and then runs out of time and doesn't get the full 60 points. So there's I do think so many riders have come a long way in terms of they've changed the way they ride. They're super fast riders now. Think of all the Spanish team, right? They generally move pretty quick. They're small and agile, and they're able to race around a circuit quite quickly, which means that they're able to score high points. Because I think for the organisers, they would think, well, yeah, generally the better the rider, the faster they will be, the more points they will get, rather than it being more a case of the strongest rider is going to get further through the section because they can do the bigger moves that are going to come later on in the section.
Don't you think though that this problem is just because of lack of variation?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you remember years ago you used to go to France, straight away you knew, okay, there's going to be 5 or 6 obstacles max, but they're going to be all massive. Then you go to Kenny's. You used to go to Kenny's event. Nothing big, but there'd be 15 gates.
Right.
You know,
a bit varied,
you used to know that style, and then it'd be like Poland. Poland were always known for being a bit easy. It were always an easy competition, and Poland, because it were always an easy competition, used to pick a new winner. Like I remember, Giacomo won his only World Cup there.
Yeah. What was it? The salute. I'll never forget
Aurelian.
that.
Aurelian Fontenoy. He was the same.
It was very much a street style competition, that one, wasn't it? In the market square.
But that's fine. That's good.
Something different.
It's variation.
Yeah.
But now the problem we've got is you've got at Abu Dhabi, you've got 5 sections, let alone 5 events. You've got 5 sections, all the same style. So if you can do the first style, you can do the last one.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
it's like, for me, section 1 should be like the pipes, like it was brilliant. Then section 2 should be like massive. You should be like, Jesus, this is massive.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, they could have made those, especially the fact that was off of decent run-ups. They could have. Yeah, they could have.
You could have really
pushed,
gone to town on it. You could have done. Like I remember, everyone hated China. The first year, everyone hated it, didn't they?
It was poorly man-made.
But the first year in China were really good. The first year, because it was fresh, it were new. The second and third year were terrible because everyone already learnt it.
And they used the same obstacles, didn't they?
Yeah, everyone had already done it.
Yeah.
So it was just like the same old, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but like,
I have to say, before we go off the dabs too, one of the most important things we have to talk about is the very last section you did, Jack. Before we get to even we were sweating when we saw you put your foot down.
He'd been practicing, haven't you?
And I thought he didn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's like, what? Where does my foot go? Fuck.
He's been listening to Mick, and Mick's like, use your head.
I just want to know, Jack, like, what was actually going through your mind in that moment? Obviously, you put your foot down to save yourself.
So Danny Baron just gets full points. You're like, fuck, now I actually have to do that.
Gate 3.
Yeah.
Before the gate 3, well, the first dab.
Yeah.
That were all planned. All planned that week. That were all already in.
Okay, you sort of had a plan, yeah.
What if? What if Danny Baron got like 40 points? Would you have gone for it then, or you still would have dabbed it?
The gate 3.
Gate 3.
Yeah, I wasn't going for that. I wasn't going for that.
You knew, you were prepared. That was your approach. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could. In the semi-final, I already knew what them stones are like. I've got rocks around here. Like
and then you watched. Yeah. Did you see the 20-inch final?
No, I didn't watch it.
Didn't watch it.
Honestly, I had that dab planned 3 days before the event even started. As soon as I seen the markers there, I was like,
that is interesting.
Is that the first dab you've ever planned for 3 days?
That's the first one I've ever said. Because I knew I had to do the damage in the first. Because the thing is with a river, with a water section, you can never count on a water section because you never really know what's going to go on.
Yeah.
Because especially if you go last. Yeah. This is another thing as well.
Could be could be covered in sand.
Yeah. Yeah. So I knew them rocks were going to be covered anyway. And in the semi-final at a World Championship with 3 laps, I win every time. I've never lost a semi-final.
Yeah.
So I already knew I was going to do well there over the 3 laps.
Yeah.
So it were all planned just to dab there. The second dab, no, that wasn't planned.
That's what I thought.
I'd already done that 3 laps the day before.
Yeah.
But the problem is the ground had sunk and it had gone. I think it had like really dried out, and the sand had gone like really
like
soft
fluffy and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, really fluffy, and you couldn't pedal on it. So that's when a bit of panicking came in. So I was just like, all right, okay. But what am I doing? But I knew I had loads of time.
Yeah.
I knew I had loads of time, and I knew that I only have to.
You only had to get one other 10 points. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew I didn't have to do the whole. Yeah, I didn't have to do the last gate. I knew I didn't.
Yeah.
That's why I waited, but I still were going to do it anyway. But there were no. It looked, because the way I dab on that is terrible. But like,
oh mate, you look like you're lost.
You're taking some lessons from Andrew Chai. What's this?
Chai's actually good at dabbing.
Is he?
But it's like that though. It's like Dan. It's very hard to win because it's like Danny Barr on that last section.
Yeah.
He already knew he'd lost.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going for it. I don't care. I'll go 100% on no.
Yeah.
In his head, he's like, no, anyway.
Yeah.
He was probably more shocked than the crowd that he got 60, because he was like, whoa, blooming hell. That's why he went so mad at the end. He was like, I've won. I've done it.
And it's only the only section he completed.
The
like,
only one he got clean.
It was like, I've seen this loads of times. When you've got no to lose, you're a dangerous. Like I've said this loads of times to everyone. When you have nothing to lose, you're a dangerous person.
Yeah.
If you have a family and kids and stuff like that, you're much more reserved. If you're homeless living down the road, you've got nothing to lose, you're a dangerous man.
So you blame it on Charlotte and Miles, the fact that you put your foot
down? I got bread on the table, haven't I?
It was so funny because I think even not most of us that were there didn't get to hear Andre's commentary, but I think that was hilarious as well, because I think he was in shock as well. Because the second one, like you say, to have done it 3 times and that to seem like a fairly straightforward gate to get you the win, to make it that little bit more dramatic. I mean, but yeah, like we said, I think it was very entertaining for the spectators, and even though it could have been won in another way, it was still an entertaining finish.
It's really funny. Like when you hear, like, I hear it all the time. Like when someone's got second, it's like, I could have won. I'm like, yeah, but you wasn't. It's easy saying whilst you're on your way home, hey, I could have. But delivering the goods is a different thing. It's like me saying, I could have won that junior one. I should have won in Andorra.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Really, that if I'd just been an inch over and not knocked that marker off, I'd have got that one and all.
Yeah.
But I didn't get them. Then I don't own them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
However way you look at them, look on record, the second places, or losses, or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Like that's what, like my dad always says. It's like he says it's just like I'm a celebrity catching the stars. That's what he does. He says it's just like once you've got a star, you've got it. You've got your meal.
Yeah.
So he says to me, and he's like told me, like, ever since I got to like 5 world titles.
Yeah.
He's like, just get another star. So
how many are you going for now then? You've got the 10. Is there a new target?
To be honest, the new target's just enjoying everything now.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, this is, since that competition, I've enjoyed riding my bike 10 times more than I ever have. Honestly, like, it's...
I mean, it's a huge achievement, so it feels like some sort of big milestone.
Well, yeah, like a bit of a relief, because you planned for it for quite a long time, right? And
so when we got to like 5, I think, to be honest, we were talking about it before I even had 2. We were always saying, imagine,
aim high, mate. Of course.
Yeah, it's like an imagine thing, and then when you get to 5, it's like, oh yeah, I reckon we can. And
just
then
got to do this all over again.
8.
The same, yeah.
Yeah, and then you get to 8, and then you get to like 9, and it's like, come on, I've got to get this, And then my dad always went on about it to me, so it were always like a thing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But like now, it's like you can't. Them goals of like, oh, I want 10. You can't go on forever wanting. Oh, I want 15 now. I want this.
Of course.
You've got to find new. You got to find new motivations. You got to find things like why do I love this sport so much? Why? What is it? Do you know? And it's like now. It's like I generally just love riding my bike.
Yeah.
Like it's especially like any bike, mountain bikes, anything. But like,
so hang on,
nothing.
Because I wanted to ask you go, and then I've got steaming into different bikes.
Well, yeah. So this we may be on the same wavelength here, but I saw a video on a 20-inch recently. And I mean, with many greats in the world of trials, right? They proved themselves on both 20 and 26-inch.
Yeah.
Could we ever see you competing 1 year, maybe just for a laugh, on the 20-inch bike and seeing how you do? Like, do you think that would be
has that crossed
ever
your
a
mind?
challenge that you would like to?
I'm one of them people. I couldn't do it for a laugh.
No, not for a laugh, but like you see, like Vincent 1 year, right? He fully went for it, and I think he ended up winning in a World Cup. Or like, I would have to go back and check.
He did really well in World Cups.
Yeah,
I remember.
So you'd actually have to train. You think like I'm going to train.
Like Abel fully went for 26. He made finals, but he never made a podium from memory. But again, like it's interesting to think of those riders and they've managed to still succeed in almost a completely different version of cycling, right? I mean, they are quite different when you think of like the techniques
I would like
involved.
to compete. I would like to compete in 20-inch, but the problem is what I don't like. The bit what's the hardest for me is saying, right, that's my permanent bike.
Yeah,
I don't really enjoy. I don't really like. I like riding 20-inch every so often.
Yeah,
but for me to say, right, I'm spending a year on it
to really take it seriously.
Yeah, I think like that. For me, that's the thing. What's like hard. I'd have to be like really disciplined there because it's so easy for me to just go jump back on the 26 and just be like, oh, like this.
It involves a lot of commitment, so to speak.
Yeah,
it's not just cool.
And I can't remember if there was if Vince ever commented on that because I kind of feel like he maybe didn't like it that much either. But I don't know.
Yeah,
it seems less common to go from 26 to 20 versus there seems
some people do it, but.
To go from 26, if you're a full-time 26-inch rider, and going back to a 20 is harder than going from a 20-inch to a 26. So when you go to a 26, it feels more space, more, you know. But when you go to a 20-inch, it feels small and like, you know.
Maybe they should say all competitors have to change wheel size next year. How funny would that be?
You got switch bikes.
All the Spanish. Like,
give it a go.
You got Borja, Alejandro, and Eloy all riding 26-inch bikes.
It's a weird one though.
That would be hilarious.
Like the 20 for me, like everyone, it's like bias saying it, but I think the 20-inch is much easier to ride. It sounds
well, they all got more points in Abu Dhabi, didn't they?
I mean, I definitely agree that they're more nimble and more manoeuvrable. I think when it comes to bigger moves, the 26-inch bike is generally better suited to going bigger.
Yeah, if it's a bigger move, pedaling at something or something like that, it's much easier. But like for side up or side up or something like that.
Any like static hook even, I think.
Yeah, you've just a little bit less bike beneath you to bring up.
So they're lighter.
A gap up to front is harder on a 20-inch.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, but like sideways movement, is harder on a 20-inch. It's the same on a 20-inch. Sorry.
Yeah. So we wouldn't see you competing, but can we perhaps have you thought about doing?
Out.
No, well,
I haven't said no.
But what I would say, which we'd still love, what about like a 20-inch edit? Like, let's get some clips. Let's see you on that a bit more. I think people would love it, Jack.
Yeah,
even on Shipley.
Yeah, just take it with you. Do what you do with your mountain bike, and you just said, "Oh shit, I've got like 10 clips now. Let's make a little."
To be honest, we've seen a couple of clips of Charlie riding his 26-inch Krukers. Actually, I don't know if that's his. Or
no, it's Adrian's. Adrian sort of gave it to him.
Even that's quite entertaining because it looks far too big, but he still managed to do some crazy stuff on it.
Definitely doesn't look right on it, but it's the same. Somehow keeping that style, but it's definitely something I'd like to see in the future, Jack. I know you've got one, just yeah, maybe get some clips on it. I think it would be
for sure.
A lot of people want to see.
I do
that.
enjoy riding. I actually was shocked how much I enjoy riding it, but I wouldn't. But like I say, I do really enjoy riding it, but it's the spending a lot of time on it.
Yeah,
for me, what's
stuck.
like the saying okay, I'm doing this for 6 months or a year is like wow, you know. Yeah. But the no, I do really enjoy riding it. The bit what I like about it more than anything is how crazy your control is on one.
Yeah,
because the bike's like little.
You're just stuck on back wheel almost with no wobbles.
Yeah. And the disc brake as well.
Yeah,
the disc brake is
of course
unbelievable.
I do like the fact that you can manual down a beam, like you see Charlie do it all the time, where he just go down a beam that's almost 45-degree angle and do a really controlled stop down it.
Yeah, that's Shipley. Like everything's on like a slope.
Yeah.
Like literally at Shipley, it's so fluent to ride, whereas on a rim brake is much more on off, isn't it? So there's like no modulation in a way, but like you can do everything so much silkier in a way than like.
Just wait until you ride along the soil and hit a little pothole and go over the handlebars because the wheels are so small.
And you've been so consistent on the same bike. Yeah. Like you haven't been switching bikes and brands and, that's probably helped you in the long term because you're like, well, you're kind of like the king of crookers kind of thing. That's the classic term, which makes me wonder, do you ever feel like you're missing out on the carbon hype?
No.
What's your thoughts on the carbon stuff then? You've ridden one. I know you've had a go on the maestros and things like that.
No, I haven't had a go on one. I never rode one.
I'm surprised. I thought maybe we discussed it when we had lunch that time. Maybe not. So
no.
You're not that bothered.
I've just seen them, and I've just never.
But Christian's never considered making a carbon.
No, because and a lot of it's we've just never wanted to change.
Yeah, you've got something that works and
don't fix it if it ain't broke. Leave other people to experiment with that. I totally agree.
And it's like I understand wanting to move to carbon if we can see results stopping from the alloy bike.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm seeing at the moment, the alloy bike, we're getting better every year. We're winning on it still. There's not. I don't see the
There's not a huge margin there, basically.
No. Yeah, there's not. It's not like I'd much rather if you said to me, would you rather have a carbon bike or an alloy bike? I'd much rather have an alloy bike, and I think a lot of buying customers would rather have an alloy bike as well, because it's like you say, you hit a frame, it's finished. If you hit a frame on an alloy bike, it's not. So even in that situation as well, I think it's better to be
I think it's a bit of a hype thing too. Clean already going back to selling alloy, same geo as their carbon, but it's in alloy. So maybe it was just a bit of a gimmick, like, hey, we can do it. Here they are. They're not that much better.
Well,
step away.
Yeah, like I say, I can't comment on how good they are or how bad they are. I've seen a lot break, if that's what we're talking about, but I've never seen a bad result from one, or apart from braking. So
it certainly seem to be much more popular on the 20-inch size wheels, I would say, because there's only the clean and
it's accessibility at that point, isn't it?
The Maestro 26. There's not really that many of them around. I don't know if that's just purely because people haven't.
Well,
really
you've got to get it direct
them
from Sheldon. There's certain people that you
difficult.
Yeah, to get a hold of.
It's like we can't. I like alloy, and I've tested. Like I've been using the 20-inch Crookers, but I really like it. I've never rode one before, but I really like the alloy 20-inch.
Yeah.
But we can't deny that they are selling more clean 20-inch bikes than 20-inch Crookers bikes. So there's some that people are preferring.
Yeah.
Which is fine, or maybe they've just, I don't know, maybe it's like a hype thing, like you say.
And also down to children, the carbon's lighter, and for a child, lighter the bike, obviously the easier it is for them.
Maybe
that's why.
I'm not. Yeah, maybe. But like, we've done tests because when we first found out carbon were about, we purposely made some frames extra light, knowing they probably won't last.
Yeah.
We made them too light on purpose. what made them close to a carbon frame. And there was no more performance out of that frame being lighter to my frame now, what's heavier than ever.
Right.
The new Kruger's frame's the heaviest they're ever been.
But also they're not stronger. Even that heavy either.
No, yeah. But the new Kruger's frame, the black and grey one, what I'm using, is heavier now than last year's model all silver. It's got thicker metal.
Right, that's what I was going to ask. So it's just thicker material.
So in a way, the Kruger's frame has never been as heavy as now, but we're getting better results with it than we got with the light bike. So it's like you can say it however you want, but it's if we are maybe I'm improving, maybe so, but like if we still getting results and we can get better by like we've gone heavier and we're still getting better. So if we go heavier and it's like, oh, I can feel this and it's rubbish, we have to find we have to find a thing. But the thing is as well is like heavier normally means the bike's actually stiffer.
Yeah, which can
and this new style of riding is all about being fast and twitch. You want that fast twitch.
You want that stiffness.
If you've got something what's like light and flimsy, which a frame at a kilo is quite flimsy.
Yeah.
It's not even that it's lighter, it's not as responsive, so you lose power anyway.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
sure.
It's a bit of a funny thing. I remember years ago with a Cox bike, I once made it really, really light and we did everything to it to make it extra light. And I rode it terrible. I'd never rode a bike as bad. And then we made it heavier and I used to use the alloy handlebars from Trial Tech and everything. And that was my best. So there's a I don't know. It's a funny game.
Experiment.
Yeah, we've done so much testing. It's crazy.
So whilst we're talking about the bike and maybe getting onto some of the components and this type of thing again now, because I think everyone's noticed that you've moved. You're now riding a small, aren't you? Now in terms of
we have been using a small, yeah.
Yeah, so a bit of experiment there because I think like you're a pretty tall guy, and most people would think the shorter you are, the shorter bike you get.
Yeah.
But now it seems to be a lot of riders going more towards the smaller bikes and then extending the reach by having this long bar and stem. So, what's been your experience recently with that?
It's the same again. So after this season, we've tested the long again, and we've tested the small, and there's advantages to everything.
Yeah,
there's advantages. You know, it depends. What are you? It's like what
do you want it to work best for?
Yeah, what do you want to? What do you want to be great at? Do you want to be great at going massive on it? Because if you want to go massive at doing a massive hook, a long bike's obviously better.
Yeah.
But if you want to do short and twisty stuff on and that, a small bike's probably better.
Yeah.
But you know, and then it's like, do you want? It's weird. It's weird.
To me, it sounds like you're making a big mod, because obviously mod in terms, right? It was short for modified. Okay, that's where it came from. So now seeing like you've gone to a short, making that Sergi short frame, big reach. He's even put this crazy ass reach thing on his stem. I think you might have seen it, Jack.
Yeah.
Well, temporary, danger stem.
I mean, he's testing it, but like it looks like from my view, it's kind of like you're creating this new mod, which is just like a 26-inch.
It's quite a bizarre looking.
20.
I mean, we thought bikes had already been as bizarre as they could be. Now these like huge raking handlebars and stuff. It's quite unique.
It depends. Like I say, the new school. The new school thing, what's there is almost the courses now are like for 20-inch bikes. To be honest, the tapes are tight, everything's small and agile, so it's quite difficult for a big bike. Yeah. I'm sure if we were doing World Cups in France again, I'm sure we'd all be on big bikes.
So it's just the nature of how the competitions have panned out. Everyone's changing kind of the setups they're using. It's like, the static hook kind of move is the biggest example of that, right? Because before static hooks came along, no one had the crazy handlebar angle, and now the majority of the World Cup riders is using it because they all know that at some point in the competition they can benefit from
they need that
handlebar, that handlebar position to do that move.
Yeah, Yeah, and it's strange how it works because you can. I think next year we'll change bike for each event. I don't think we will stick to the same stuff. So like if it's
or
this
even
style,
adjust. Would you ever adjust your bike mid competition? Like if you saw
no. Once you're in. But the
yeah, that's that's
no,
asking for it. I know what you're saying. But,
that's it. You could say,
could
this is going to suit me better for the moves that I can see are in front of me, versus
you could be like that for sure. But like it's
hard when you're not training.
Yeah, it's hard to change mid thing and that. But like as soon as you get there, you can be like, okay, we're doing this, we're doing that. You know, it's like if there's loads of kickers, for example, you're not going to have your bars crazy forward, are you?
Well, that's where we.
Somehow you still would. You know,
but
like the average person would be like, oh,
well, that's exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's exactly my point, right? It's. I mean, do you feel like you need? Can you get on a bike that you've just changed and still feel like you can ride it pretty competently, or do you feel like you need time to get used to a slightly different geometry?
Well, I've always been crazy for changing stuff, haven't I? So I change everything.
Yeah.
Use this handlebar, use this, I test this, and I adapt quite
quickly. Yeah.
Give me half an hour, and I'll say if I like it or I don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But like, there's many riders who don't do that. But like, I think that if you want top performance out of something now, you've got to set your bike how the style of the section is.
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult now. It's not like how it used to be. It used like now it's this sport. Like you've got to be realistic. It's not an amateur sport. Like it's literally, to be honest, it's like if you look at motorbikes and stuff like that. Like I was thinking about this a few days ago actually. Like we admire all motorbike guys, which I admire them all as well. But they should also be admiring us because we're going up the same as them. You know, like when you think like you see everything on a pedestal, like motorbikes, downhill, this, that, and other. To be honest, we can all have a good go at like the downhill and that. You can't have a go at what we're doing,
mate. It goes on to when we were in Abu Dhabi. There was some altercation with some BMXers anyway. And put it this way, the person that spoke out and respected kind of represented trials in this argument, so to speak, pretty much said it as it was. Like, bro, if I get on your BMX, I'll do better than you would if you got on my trials bike. It's a funny one, You know, it was a bit of I think he was drunk and whatever, you know, you've got no seat, you're an idiot. But like, it was like, hang on a minute, this is the basics of cycling. We're just taking it to the extreme.
Yeah, it's a tough sport.
It
needs. Yeah, it's one of them. It's like it's going. You know, it's always been quite a small sport anyway. It's always going to be a small sport because it's too hard and it's getting even harder. So it's
and you got to need a screw loose somewhere in there. Like we're all a bit wacko in our own way, you know. So I totally agree. It's that kind of, and
you know, it's ongoing debate over how do you make it more accessible for people. But I don't know. At the same time, I think the more impressive it is, that part can potentially attract people. But we all know that Danny McCaskill and these guys, they're the ones that seem to be getting the limelight and attracting younger riders at the moment.
Well, that's it. Any video that goes viral, we've said it before, any cycling video that goes viral and gets seen by someone who isn't a cyclist is a trials video.
Yeah.
Not a BMXer. Like, I think, I can't remember where I've had this conversation, maybe with you, Jack, or whatever.
It might have been the GMBN.
Oh, actually, actually, that's when
you did a great little chat with Martin.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you touched upon a few of those. We need, what's the next big thing?
He'd be like,
Jack CARTHY riding
me? You should have just said me.
I think. I don't know about that. But
I think that's what they were pointing.
A few weeks ago, there were a competition at Shipley, and there were some lads doing the course on mountain bikes. And as soon as I seen it, I was like, maybe that's the next thing, because it's like.
Do you go back to like getting scrutineered over your bike, that's got no seat. You can't ride that. You're like,
No,
do you know what I mean?
like,
Do you know what I mean, though? You almost need...
Say they come to the first trial, they come to the first one on a mountain bike, next one they come on like a street bike, and then next minute they might have a 20-inch trials bike, and then next minute
sure.
It's like a gradual thing.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I think you want to...
Can you imagine if I said to a beginner, there's my Krukers, set up how it is, have a good day, have a good day on it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't ride it.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's it. This is what Sean...
It's almost too aggressive.
Sean with South Coast Bike Trials, he's certainly really pushed for that last year, and I think they managed to get great numbers in terms of attendance. So,
and this year's even better numbers. Nina's coming over. There's some big names.
No, awesome. Yeah, so no, they're really trying to get people just involved on whatever bike it is. Just come on and have fun on their bikes, and it's the old BIU rules, so it's kind of relaxed and it's great. I think that's what we need. We need more clubs like that are just telling people come and have a fun day on your bike. Let your
dad ride white on his mountain bike.
And that's the intro, right? And then like you say, then it builds into something that is a bit more.
Yeah, it's the same way. It's like the same way. Motorbike trials have it really good in England, don't they? So they have like clubman events. Then they have like a British Championship.
Yeah.
But most of the people who do club events don't do the British Championship because they're just like, we're not good enough to do British Championship, which is absolutely fine. That's no problem.
They know they won't enjoy it, so they just like...
you're not going to enjoy it. It's too hard.
That's
fine. You know, and then there's European level, then there's world level, then there's like the top boys.
Yeah.
But like, there's enough events of each thing.
Yeah.
So like...
keep people interested.
Yeah, like we used to have years ago, type trial. And then you'd have like your nationals, and then you'd have your British. And like what started happening was it's like I remember when we used to do a tight trial, like, oh fun, it's a tight trial, and then it was like a British Championship, like, Jesus, this is gonna be hard. You know, like you had that respect for it.
Yeah.
And what
it certainly
went wrong.
I seem to remember you'd have a club competition, you'd be like, oh, I can ride red route, and then you go to a national and you go, I can't ride red route anymore.
Yeah, you'd be really down hard. In blue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like back then, it was much better. The top riders were getting something out of it in every category, and the lower riders were getting something out of it. But there were a tight trial every month.
Yeah, no,
there were a tight trial twice a month sometimes.
Good old Barbara Wright. She
in
August, put a lot of effort in.
Like August, September, I remember like there were tight trial like nearly every 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Every 2 weeks. And what basically my dad used to build half of the courses, so he used to in the elites of the tight trial. I don't know if you remember, Steve. You probably do.
Yeah.
The elites in tight trial ended up like world level at one point. They were well hard. You know, they were crazy. And my dad was like, "Yeah, but you need to improve. You need to get better."
That sounds like Mick already. He's like, "Well, hang on. You know, like it's about challenging yourself."
I loved it.
Yeah,
at the time, I loved it. Because I was like, oh, this is brilliant. I'm getting good practice here.
And that was back when you had to get out of the section to get anything other than a 5.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
So like when you were doing that, I loved it because I want to be world champion. But the problem was the people who say were in red, who were like a good red, they couldn't go to yellow.
Yeah.
So what do? It's like, I'm going next week because there's no point. I'm going to red, it's too easy. Yellow's just too hard. And that you've just killed the sport.
Yeah. Well, that's why the new rules kind of work slightly better in certainly from a club level, because people can still benefit from getting they can get points.
Even old rules or whatever. It's like a tight trial.
Yeah.
A club event should never be set to maximum capacity.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. It's like, if you can jump 5 foot, it should be set 4 foot. It's a club event.
Yeah.
It's for fun.
Yeah.
It's for people to go around and be like, "Hey, how are you doing?" It's more like a meet and greet, like a street ride.
Yeah.
And that the thing what Sean's doing is the right thing for a club event.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
definitely.
Old rules, BIU. If you touch pedal, whatever, don't matter.
Yeah.
It's not like,
It's
hey,
relaxed.
I hate that.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, I hate that observer because he marked me a win because I scraped my pedals. You know,
that's why everyone loves me as the observer, because I'm like, your axle went through. That's fine.
But it's like, oh, we're a bit over.
It's meant to be a bit relaxed by nature.
It's a club event.
Yeah,
it's a club event. It's not meant to be like that. But then, like, what you need to do then though is like your British Championship rounds, like what they have at Derbyshire and that. Like much more organised, much more official, and the people who are doing the club events, they might come and watch.
Yeah.
They might come. They might even do the outer class route.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And then watch the final or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's the only way the sport's going to keep growing, because if you start making it like from a club event where it's niche as all, it's just a disaster, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tough.
You know,
I know.
It's brilliant for us.
We must have to get you down to the South Coast, not even to compete, Jack. Imagine you an observer. That would be something to film, wouldn't it?
Like something like that. I'd
come on your e-bike,
on my mountain bike.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah,
I'd rather come on that.
That's the one. Yeah,
there you go. And come in. It's always for a bit of fun. I know the Shindig podcast is sponsoring all the events this year, so I'm going to be at all of them, and we're hoping that this will be the year for trials in the UK, which
especially with Glasgow coming up.
Glasgow, Are you feeling the pressure for being at home, Jack, for the champs?
It's not even really home, is it? You'll probably go to Scotland and no one will know who you are.
I know. I don't feel any pressure like that.
Yeah.
No, sounds like you really are having fun with
it. It'll be a short trip at least. So shortest commute.
It takes longer to get there than to Spain, so it's not even.
Does it? Oh God, yeah.
It probably makes.
It's not that far from you, is it? How far is it from you to Glasgow? Was it 3 hours?
4 or 5 hours.
Oh, really?
4 or 5 hours.
You're driving too slow.
Driving too slow. Yeah. I remember when you were in Spain and you broke. I feel like this was last year. You broke some forks and you were like, "Oh shit, they're at home." Drove all the way home, didn't you, to pick up some forks, and then drove all the way back to Spain?
What was that?
Sorry, I might have cut out. I remember, was it last year? You were at like Trial Evolution or Vic or something. You broke your forks. You drove back to England to get your forks and came back again.
Well, what happened was the factory, the Croupers did a post about it. They'd forgot to put the inserts in, which were crazy.
Right, I remember this.
And so in the factory there were like 500 pairs of the forks. What was wrong?
Yeah,
so I was like, well, do you have any? Do you have any? Yeah, the recall. There were only 4 pairs what had gone out, so it were good.
Yeah,
no one had took them.
They caught it. Yeah.
But you had a one. You had on the ship.
They forgot to put like an insert in.
Yeah. Oh dear.
You what? Sorry.
Yeah, so you got one of the dodgy
pairs.
They
forgot to put an insert in them, and then basically. So I had the fresh pair, but you were wrong. So I was like, I don't want to use that pair. So I had to go home because they had none of the old version. So I drove all the way home, got them, and drove out again.
There you go.
Just looking for that. I mean, if that doesn't scream, I'm committed to the sport. I don't know what does, mate. So listen, we could talk for hours.
I've actually got one more question I wanted to ask Jack.
Yeah, let's do it. We could talk for hours, but I'm trying to get into the motion of not doing 2-hour podcasts.
Yeah. So I never asked you about this, but when we were in Abu Dhabi, there was a rumor that you had one of the Saudi princes come and ask you for a show. Is that true?
I had to do a little show, yeah.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Yeah, like a little show.
So they sat back in their armchairs and
it were like it were actually the UCI. It was the family, the whole family. It was the UCI who organised it, and I had to go do like a little thing for the prince and all the kids and that were there.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What was that like? Yeah. You just pop them a wheelie and they were happy.
Yeah.
They wasn't even interested. Crazy. They wasn't even interested. They looked at it and just walked off.
There you go, then.
I can't do that.
Not interested. Unless it's like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, you don't care.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, it was quite surreal, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't bothered.
Yeah.
No. Well, Jack, thank you so much for coming on again and chatting to us about now becoming 10 times world champ. That's
incredible feat.
Yeah. Bringing it home for us British boys.
Got to be what? The most successful 26-inch rider in trials history. It has to be, right? I think other than Benito in the 20-inch category, there's not been anyone that's dominated like you have, and you're not done yet, hopefully. A couple more in you.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I know.
Keep going.
You've still got some years. You're still young.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think we've got another 10 years of Jack
still
becoming.
Young.
Maybe he'll have 20 titles.
Yeah, I mean, Vince is what, 30, late 30s now, isn't he? 36?
He's 37?
30, something like that.
He's going to hate us if we've got that
I think
wrong.
Vince is Vince 40 now.
I feel better already for saying 37 if he is.
Oh my God.
I'll stick with
40 now, 39 or something like that.
We'll have to go back and look at the ages on
No,
on the entry.
I think he's 39.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, again, there you go. You got ages, mate.
Creeping up. You've got
20 in the back.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time, mate. So,
all right. Well, we'll let you get to bed.
We'll let you get some rest and go to bed. That's what we're missing out on. So we should be going to bed before 9 a.m. Steve, you might.
I'll quickly get on the train.
Yeah.
I'll sleep here.
Might get a few more gates this year if we go to bed now.
Really rested.
Or hopefully we'll be up in the summer. I have got on my list to come and ride with you and do a collab video. And as we said, so we'll get a nice street and fun banter bike day with you. I've been Matt Pengelly on the Shindig podcast.
I've been Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers, Jack CARTHY, 10 times world champion. This is the only time we can sing It's Coming Home, and it will be coming home again this year, I like to think.
Cheers, buddy.
Thanks very much, Jack.
Have a good evening.
And we'll speak to you soon,
a
buddy.
lot. Yeah, you too.
Thanks, mate. Take care. Have a good evening.
Yeah,
See
man.
you soon.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
Bye.